This September, as Parisians return to work, school, and business as usual, you'll be hard-pressed to find signs of a slow economy or an unhappy, unemployed people, with the French unemployment rate reaching a 13-year high at 10%, leaving over 3 million people out of work, and with gasoline and diesel reaching unprecedented prices, you would think that there would be a lot more discontent citizens visibly roaming the city's streets. Through the months of July and August, the city was practically emptied of local Parisians and infiltrated by the yearly hush of tourists who overrun Paris during the summer months. Nearly 85% of Parisians took a full month off either in July or August, traveling south to the French Riviera along the Mediterranean coastline of the southeast corners of France, or they went abroad to places like Spain, Portugal, and Italy. By September, or what the French call la Rentrée, everything in Paris begins to look a little more normal, with students and teachers going back to school and restaurants and other businesses operating full-time. It is at this point when the tourists start dwindling and the cafes are full of sun-kissed locals proudly displaying their tans, recounting their summer adventures, and this being Paris, the undoubted summer flings. Throughout the Parisian air, there is a feeling of optimism in what should really be considered as the start of the new year. But how long will that last? And what, if anything, should the French be hopeful about? The recently elected and increasingly unpopular president, François Hollande, has lowered growth expectations for 2012 from a meager 1.2% to 0.8%. In order to keep the deficit in line, the government will have to come up with 30 billion euros by 2013. The plan is to divide it into 3 parts. It breaks down into 10 billion euros in savings, meaning cutting back on government spending, making the cuts even more complex as President Hollande has already committed to hiring new civil servants in education, law enforcement, and the justice system. The second 10 billion euros would be additional tax levies for businesses, which is always an incentive for companies to look elsewhere. Another 10 billion euros is planned in tax increases for the masses, targeting especially the wealthiest taxpayers, including a well-publicized surtax of 75% in incentive pay for anything over 1 million euros. That would take place in 2013 and 2014, what Hollande has framed as a recovery period. That new tax measure will only affect around 2,000 to 3,000 taxpayers, France's top-earning artists, athletes, and the entrepreneur class. For the rest, just those below the superclass, a new tax bracket of 45% will be added in 2013, which will involve households reporting over 150,000 euros per year. These measures have been a cause for great commotion among France's elite, with the head of LVMH, Bernard Arnault, France's richest man and the 4th richest man in the world, applying for citizenship in Belgium and launching the leftist newspaper Libération into an all-out rage, calling Arnault a rich idiot and a deserter for what has been widely perceived as a move towards tax evasion. For now, Paris is still drifting in that soft, windy calm before the storm. Soon, the flowers and plants will no longer be as bright and bushy green, as the fall slowly creeps about, with winter not far on its heel, and reality begins to sink in. For Gloobbi, in Paris, I'm Della.